So making your mark, I thought there's a great proverb, and how'd it go? It says, give me the child to the age of 7 and I'll give you the man. So I thought I'd go back in time and tell you what I was doing to the age of 7. I was born the year man landed on the moon, so everything around me was NASA designed. The future was rosy. Making your mark isn't always a great thing, as I found out when I was expelled from play school at the age of 3 for getting expressive with a big black paintbrush on a wall about that big that they'd covered in paper for all the other kids to do murals of zoo creatures. And at the age of 4, I changed my name to Joe, so I was a bit of a rebel. This is the first sketch of the first design that I did that came to fruition. And it turned into a £35 million project. It was the first upper-class seat I ever did. And it was an incredible journey, very painful. It took us 4 years. We had to build our own seat company to do it. But if you're going to make your mark, you can't give up, and you've got to work very hard. That's all I'd say. And this is my own photography here. 35,000 feet, 500 miles an hour, on my way to Washington, sitting in that seat. I was very impressed. The first time I actually used my design. And now I actually walk up and down the cabin and just point to things, say, I did that, I did that, I did that. Now, I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. This is the rigid, expanded plastic, super lacquered, original Werner Panton chair, not the cheap solid plastic version. This is my favourite cover of Vogue, and it's because there isn't any fashion there. It's pure product design. And Werner Panton is one of my heroes. He was beyond his time. This is a shelter that's designed by Softroom. Chris and Ollie I've worked with since 2001, and they came up with this fabulous idea of camouflaging a shelter in the middle of nowhere by actually making it reflective, so it reflected everything, its surroundings, which I thought was so brilliant that I actually employed them. If you've ever designed a chair, you'll know just how brilliant this is, and unfortunately it's always heralded as a design icon, but for Charles Eames to do this in, I think it was 1956 or something, is just incredible, and we still use this as a guideline of comfort today when we're doing things like our upper class suites. And here's the present day kind of version. I've been working with Pearson Lloyd for a number of years, 6 years, since 2001, and this is their latest turtle chair, and you can see the same principles of metallic base, a vac-forming back, and then the beautifully upholstered interior. And the guys really understand product and furniture and how you can make forms out of soft materials. It's fantastic. So this was the upper class suite. This baby, I think, was my 4th patent, which we've now managed to license. We've earned over about £20 million just out of the royalties on that. But it kind of came about when times were very hard. It was just after September 2001 when we came up with the idea. We launched it in true Virgin style. We got Richard to dress up as M&M and take a chainsaw to BA's seat, claiming that it was the death of BA first because we'd actually produced a product that was better than their first class seat, but in business class. But it was very courageous for them and CEO Steve Ridgway to actually invest loads of money when we were making people redundant because the business market had just fallen out. So I think if you're going to make your mark, I look terrified because there's about 50 journalists all staring at me going, how does it work? And I couldn't answer. Anyway, so if you're going to make your mark, you really do need the support from the highest level. So a great debt of gratitude to Richard and Steve for supporting design. I've obviously had to put my neck on the block to champion design, but they haven't cut it off yet. Less is definitely more, and God is definitely in the detail. And Mies van der Rohe is, again, an architectural hero of mine, and just having the intrinsic aesthetics of the material he uses is something that I try and encompass in the ground lounges that we do around the world. It is a bit like me. It's quite simple but extravagant. But we're working with people like Barbara Osgerby, who, as you can see with the tiles they did for Stella McCartney's boutique and also their loop table, have the same mentality of just, the decoration is essentially shadows, isn't it? So these guys are absolutely fantastic. And we've been working with them for ages, but we haven't actually been able to release any of the work we've done with them until now. And this is the first time. This isn't a press shot, so it's a bit ropey, but we not only invest in our customers, we also invest in our customers within the company itself, and this is our new training area for all our crew and our staff. The present day designer that I think is going to make their mark big time in the future is Thomas Heatherwick. I met him a couple of years ago in Japan, and I also saw a Pecha Kucha there as well. But myself, him and Tom Dixon were working with the Design Council to promote British design in Japan, and this is a Buddhist temple he's trying to build out of wood, and I hope he gets there. And final slide, this is a picture taken from Virgin Galactic. One of my friends from Galactic showed it to me. $200,000 a ticket, you get to go at 2,500 miles an hour. And we're back in outer space. Basically, the future is very optimistic now. I hope all the designers at Brunel will go away and make their mark, because now is the time to do it, and I wish them the very best of luck.